PJ.
Hello. Zoom is acting weird. Can you say something? I want to check my audio.
Oh, I was in mute.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. I need you to look at the PR that I shared in the chat again.
Oh, okay. Let me see. 1 second.
It's a cherry pick, but I needed to make some changes on top of it.
Give me a second. I'm trying to find it. You dropped in the Zoom chat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's 4039.
Okay. This one. Oh, there were issues with the tests.
Yeah. So the reason behind failing test was the cherry pick PR essentially assumed that, like, the original PR assumed that VIP was turned on by default, whereas in
Right.
319 we don't have it turned on by default. So I needed to like change the defaults in order to make the test work.
Oh, got it. Why do we have the commented lines?
Oh, where?
In controller test.go. It's a constraint template controller test.
Oh, yeah. I need to remove it. Good catch.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay, I'll review after this call. But great that tests showed this is an issue. Cool. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I'll review after this call.
Yep.
And then we'll create 319.3.
Yeah. I mean, no one is asking for it, so I'm not sure if you want to release it immediately or.
But this is a major problem if we don't have this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just release it. If we have any other things that we can mean to cherry pick, we can also do that. Like the CVE fixes and whatnot. And for 320, looks like we'll wait 1 more week, right?
Yeah.
We cut this last week. Okay.
Yeah, we'll need to wait one more week.
Did you get any feedback for 320?
Not as of now. I actually wanna test it as well, so I'll probably test it tomorrow or on Friday, like through and through for 320 as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's also ask the policy team to.
They already did it. They didn't report any issues.
Oh, okay, cool. They already tried it. Oh, awesome, great.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything for agenda today? Let me think.
I
Oh, Rita just joined.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello.
did you guys want to do the milestone stuff?
Yep.
I think we did some of it last week. Let me see.
Yeah, we did some of it last week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going through it right now. Sorry for the delay.
So we said we're doing 320 next week, right? I'll update the milestone date.
Yeah.
July 9, July 16.
I do have one more thing for the agenda, apart from milestone planning.
And I think you said this is not ordered, right, or ranked.
No, it was not. Yeah.
Okay, do we want to do that real quick?
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and like drag and drop, move it just based
Yeah.
on your recommendation, and then others can chime in, maybe?
I did bit of rearranging after we talked on Slack because I didn't notice they roll the feature of dragging and dropping again. So after that, I did a little bit of it, but not the whole thing. I think the order looks good to me.
But as is, let me see.
Yeah, I mean, I did bit of reordering before, so I think it's
This
good.
is you're seeing the same thing, right? 393902 is first, and then 2826 is last.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Um,
I'm actually liking how new users are like contributing to Gatekeeper. Like for example, somebody did raise a PR for supporting the Git operation. Somebody did for customize, like upgrading customized version, and somebody just pinged me for like making the interface method private.
oh, that's great. Well, yeah. I
Nice.
didn't see that. That's amazing. I'm wondering how much of this is AI. I'm a bit like, I mean, which is fine. It's great.
I mean, maybe AI is making it easier.
Yeah. But also,
Um,
there's a lot of like, I think it's like a double edge, right? Because you have to review it, and some of them it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like I was good. I'm kind of stretching myself out just because I have to review so many PRs.
Yeah.
hey, welcome to being a maintainer.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for, I guess.
Well, I think if it's easier, there's a lot more PRs, which is great, right? But then
Yeah,
you have to review that many more PRs.
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think this PR would work as is, right? The customized one. I don't think it's
No,
gonna.
no, it won't. It won't.
Yeah.
Um, uh, did you say we're gonna the that management feature is moving in beta, right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Beta. Do we want an issue for,
GA.
yeah, or do we want to wait for a two release, one more release?
I think let's add it for GA. At least that will give me criteria to think about on what we want in GA. And if we can get to it this release, great. If not, then next release.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have an issue tracking it. Otherwise, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, we don't have an issue tracking it.
Yeah,
And
so I think we should.
yeah, similarly, we also want two issues tracking like connection CRD graduation to beta and then disk drive or graduation to beta as well. I
Do
need to create those issues as well.
Yeah, and let's add it to this milestone.
Okay.
I think this milestone is a lot.
Yeah, some of the stuff are like
Yeah, it might be okay to open 322 and just move some stuff over. Doesn't mean they're not important, it's just
yeah,
priorities, right? I think that might help you and other contributors focus. That way when they pick work, they might like, in theory, they might pick the sooner one or whatever.
yeah.
Um, Okay, good list. Sorry, I just finished.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm adding two more issues.
yeah, I would say those are probably higher priority, right? Because we don't want the feature to be stuck in beta forever or alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably prioritize the external data one maybe then. Because I think 2917 is down on the list, but that has been beta for a long time.
Which one?
The 2917 add status to providers that external data.
Yeah,
I think that's a GA blocker. I think we said this.
Right. True.
Yeah, we should have this before external data comes to GA. You commented on this a while back. Do we want to move this up then?
Yeah. Do it.
Cool. Like top one or
Um.
oh,
I mean, if we wanted to GA this milestone, then probably like top 3 or 5 at least, right?
okay, let's just move to top and then we'll figure it out, I guess.
Right. Right.
I'm going to move the add CI to publish sample images to G. Do we think that's priority? Is anybody asking for it or nice?
it's just for our sanity. But for this release, I was planning to push like updated sample images to GHCR manually, so we can push it to 322.
Uh,
Nobody is asking for. Yeah.
I'll move it then. Three. Oh, we don't have 322. I'll create it.
Does one of you want to share your screen?
Yeah. Let me do that. Sorry.
So are you sharing? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. This is more for recording, right? Like,
Yeah, I moved it to 322.
okay.
We can move update customized version to down. I mean, somebody is already working on it, but
Remove what? Sorry.
4033.
Oh, uh, yeah. I think even if someone's working on it, like it may still help you think about like if you're working on something and then you need to review something, helps
Yeah,
you prioritize things. But also like just because someone's showing someone's working on it doesn't mean it's actually making progress.
yeah.
So there, we have a lot of PRs that's just sitting there, unfortunately.
Wait. Okay, I think any one of us needs to move it. Otherwise, I get conflicts, and I just tried to move this issue down, and it errored that milestone has
Oh
been
yeah, I
updated.
had the same issue when I was moving. Yeah, just refresh and then do it, and then nobody touches.
Yeah.
Eventual consistency,
Um,
So do we think at the bottom or like somewhere in between?
move to bottom because I think the graduation stuff should go up,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, the
Okay.
customized stuff is mostly for so on Dalek we can make better you like they use the new images.
Yeah.
I guess I thought my PR was merged honestly. So we won't be supporting multi-platform anyway. If Customize doesn't support multi-platform anyway, I don't know if updating gives us. Yeah. And in to read this context, Customize doesn't support multi-platform for its images. I created a PR on their repo like a year ago. Nobody reviewed it or merged it. So, and then if you wanted to like do multiple architecture testing, we need the customized build, but that supports multi-platform. Um,
I
yeah, but
see.
it's not a problem in upstream because we don't test in the cross-platform images.
Gotcha.
But regardless, we should update to the latest, right? It's been like quite a long time since.
Yeah, I mean, probably nice to have.
Until like there's a like vulnerabilities flagging somewhere.
I mean, it's just used for generation, so it's like,
Right. Like
yeah,
it's not in the code. Like it won't show up in
right,
our dependencies.
right.
So
It
that's why
just
it's lower.
generates stuff. So yeah, nobody looks at those kind of
Right,
stuff.
right, right.
It doesn't run. Yeah, like at
Got it.
runtime.
Okay, then so the first five are good, right? In order of priority. First one is add status to provider external data. Second one is supporting delete operation in VAP. Third one is auditing as soon as the policies are loaded. Fourth one is replace the linear retries to exponential retries. And fifth one is basically publishing guidance and docs over how much time does it take for gatekeeper on an average to ingest all templates.
I think the graduation stuff should move up first, no?
Oh, okay, then let's do that. Uh,
By the way, the delete one, I think it's a blocker for VAP GA, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're related. So maybe put them next to, like maybe put it right below delete. I don't know. Just a thought. In theory, there's nothing else blocking it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then I feel graduating disk driver to beta. This
it's true.
retry mechanism is kind of blocker. Not really, but like nice to have. So I'll move it to there and
Right.
action CRD to beta. I'll move it here.
Looks good. I guess the connection CRD and disk driver are separate, right? Like regardless,
Yeah,
like they have different cadence, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Getter support for external data.
I really wish we had more feedback for the the driver stuff, whether it's like disk or Dapper. I mean,
Yeah,
this is new, but Dapper,
yeah.
I kind of wish we had more feedback. Okay, anyway, keep going.
Getter support for external data. Says like
I think that would be a cool one. So like that GitHub thing could be like shift left.
Yeah, at your own risk.
Why is it that?
Well,
because
extra, like where do you call home, right?
Oh, I mean it's GitHub specific.
Oh, which one are actually? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one.
I was 20, the
The
Jay
Gator
mentioned
support, right?
yeah this yeah Gator support for external data, yeah.
Yeah, like, cause gate, like, I think the concern is like, where is external data? Like, it could be outside, right? Could be another, like, maybe going out of your network.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I mean somebody will need to create a provider obviously somewhere.
it's a call basically to an API.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that it's all about the provider. It's about like me as the operator when I enable this. I need to think about like, for example, like what IP to allow to go outside, for example.
Yeah, I mean this isn't CI for validation. Yeah, I mean if you have like egress,
Yeah,
then
but
yes.
like a
Yeah.
lot of companies, they don't they block the IPs, right? They're pretty locked down.
Yeah,
Uh,
obviously for this to work you need to reach to GitHub. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're thinking GitHub because that's the external data provider you're thinking of, but
Yeah, just an
once you do
example.
this,
Yeah,
it could
it could
be
be anything.
anything, right? Yeah,
Right. It could be
yeah.
anything.
That's
But I
all
think
I'm
that
saying.
the
Yeah,
challenge for that is because it's hosted out, like because Gator runs that doesn't run in Kubernetes, so the provider will need to be
yeah,
hosted somewhere
yeah.
else.
Right, right, right.
And then that somewhere else could be
Could
like
be
anywhere that
inside the network, could be outside the network.
right.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying is this capability is pretty powerful, um and so like when we introduce it, like we need to make sure like at least like a warning, like hey, if you need want to use this in your company or like in your environment, you may need to like put the IPs in an allow list somewhere. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think people think
how is
about
that
that.
different from the Kate's external data?
It's not different except like Gator, um it's like probably a different team, right? Like probably a different organization. Like say Kubernetes, you own the cluster, you could do whatever you want. But if it's like CI/CD, maybe you need to like call up your IT person to allow some IPs. I'm just
This this may require users to have a common external data for in cluster and outside of the cluster thing, right? Like for example, a centralized external data service which a gator can call upon as well as gatekeeper instance running in a
yeah,
click.
for sure.
That's how you maintain consistency basically.
That's true. Yeah. Like say the GitHub one if you want to use that. Yeah. Uh okay.
Okay, so that's there. I don't think we can move this up above, so it's fine there. Uh, then rest, I think this we have to move up. just because we want to graduate driver, so we want to make sure the interface is also pretty solid. This is just like non-capitalizing the methods of the interface. Hopefully, the make driver methods private to make sure it is accessible, right?
Yeah. This is again to make sure, if you remember, right, is to make sure there's no uh like always relying on the caller um to make sure it's not overriding each other or conflicting with the potential of conflicting calls. I'm trying to
Uh,
remember that PR. Yeah.
yeah, I think rest of the stuff's look good.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything else if you have anything in mind?
Was there anything that came out of like the mutation stuff? Like you had like tagged people, right? Oh, sorry. Uh, you had tagged issues, old issues that wanted mutation, and you had suggested, hey, use map for that. Was there any like feedback since then? No.
Uh, I I have not looked it in the past week or two, but before that, I don't think I have. Last we talked, I think you were gonna follow up with Sissy or someone in Map to share the list of the issues and get their thoughts as well.
Ah, okay. I did not do that. Uh,
I can share you the Map issue if you want, where I have linked everything.
okay. Sounds good.
It's this one, and I think we removed it from Milestone because there was.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can cross link it. Oh yeah. Sorry, I totally dropped the ball on that one.
No, no worries. Even I, thank you for mentioning it. I kind of skipped, it skipped my mind as well to follow up. So
Okay. So what I will do is go to the enhancement, like the map enhancement, and link to this just so that there is um like history or like cross referencing it, right? Um, mission policy, and then I think 134 is beta. Yep, placeholder.
it's very hard when this is like completely async and you don't get response for quite some time to remember and track it again to continuously check the same thing
Yeah.
till it drops out of your bucket.
Okay. Let me do it right now so I don't forget. Oh boy. Sorry, just real quick, other than the map, um, manage map feature going to beta, is there anything else that's graduating, advancing from alpha?
We introduced, no,
No.
nothing. Yeah. We introduced a new API, which is alpha. That's it.
Right. So it might be good to call out these like sort of big changes in the release notes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Are we good with milestone? Then I have one more
Mm,
thing to
I think
discuss.
so.
Yeah, I think that list is good. Some of them are also easy, like there's a few docs ones.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the external data one, like the marking external data. That one is the solution already exists. We just need to add to the doc. I think I asked Shinhei to add that a while back, but he never did. But the solution is in the thread. What were you saying, Jay?
Yeah, so somebody already raised a PR for supporting delete operation uh, in generated VAP. And so the solution I had in mind was basically uh, to unionize what operations are enabled through validating webhook and introduce fields in constraint template to override operations at policy level as well. So the solution was basically that while creating VAP, we'll look at the validating webhook to see if the delete operations are enabled there, as well as if the operations are passed through spec and both of them if matches, then we'll create VAP with delete operation. It is to make sure that we are consistent with behavior in constraint, how constraint templates are evaluated versus uh, how VAP works, right? And in the PR, like I was, they implemented a reconciler on validating webhook, which basically looks at all the requests for updating validating webhook and determines the same thing. But I was wondering, like if that is the approach we want to go towards, or like, is there anything else we want to add? Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, we were hoping this one Max will be back before this because I feel like this is kind of big enough where he would have an opinion about.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's still not back yet. Um, can you remind me what is the latest decision? Like, what are the latest like sort of options?
So I actually wrote everything down here in the PR itself. So
Oh,
there are two
sorry.
options.
Mhm.
Like one is to introduce a field in constraint template to define those operations and then generate VAP from it. And the another one is basically if we can define a flag that basically enables this behavior for everything, like enable delete operation in VAP to true, and then every VAP created will have delete operation or not. And the third one is to look at the webhook and see if webhook is supporting delete operations, and in that case, append the like append the delete operation in the VAP generated as well, because we by default do create and update anyways.
Mm.
So this PR basically implements the combinations of looking at the webhook and then also introducing a field in cell engine for the operations.
Yeah,
And while we are at it, we probably should do connect operation as well in VAP, like support that as well.
connect operation VIP. Oh, right. How do you do connect for VAP in VAP? Remind me.
It's a part of the operation field in the VAP spec. I think match constraint or something. I don't
So
remember
by
the exact.
default, it's part of the VAP spec already, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
I, I think the field is called resource operations, and there are four types like update, create, delete, and connect.
Right. Yeah, I have to think about this because we need to make sure like whatever we do is backward compatible. The thing about the gatekeeper one is like right now it's all or nothing, right? And so how do we map that to this new behavior, I guess? Um,
Like one of the ways basically replicate the field in constraint template and support to override what is I mean, you can't really override what is default because if the scope it constraint template is broader than what webhook is allowing, then it will fail.
yeah. And
Uh,
then we also don't know what's in the webhook config.
yeah. So that's what this PR is doing. It's adding a reconciler or basically a watch on webhook, gatekeeper webhook specifically to see what operations are enabled there.
Mm.
But I don't know if that's a safe choice or not.
And okay. What do you mean by adding a watch for validating webhook? Do you mean validating webhook config?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember and I need to look up where this is documented, but I don't think you could do that. I don't think trying to remember. I think explicitly validating webhook cannot block validating webhook config changes.
We are not blocking anything, right? Like we are just,
Just watching it. Okay.
yeah.
Uh, right. Mm. So option two is basically you have this like global setting, right? At the config level, validating webhook config level, but you can override it per constraint template.
We can't really override it the configuration, right? Because if the delete operation is not mentioned in the configuration itself, like API server won't
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
transfer
It
those
won't.
requests to
Right.
gatekeeper. So it's more like a validation to see if uh, delete operations is defined in the validating webhook configuration, then it should be allowed in VAP as well, which is generated through gatekeeper to
Sure.
maintain the scope.
I mean, you can overwrite if it's there, but you can't overwrite if it's not there.
What do you mean?
Like if delete is in web validating webhook config, you can override it, right? Right? Because it's still
Yeah,
to
yeah,
your point, webhook's still getting it, but you're just overriding the behavior,
yeah, yeah,
right? But you can't overwrite if it doesn't exist in the config because to your point, the request doesn't come through.
yeah.
But then for VAP, is it every request? I guess the binding uh how does VAP decide if delete operations gets if the request gets addressed by the mission controller or not.
Has resource. Where is it? Yeah. Operations. This field.
Right. So that means every request goes to. Okay, yeah. So the policy is essentially the mechanism that decides if delete requests come through or not. So it's more granular, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the reminder. I like completely forgot about all this. Hmm. This this PR, is it doing one or two? Option one or two?
Two.
Two?
Second. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not complete as in like it doesn't include any changes on the frameworks or gatekeeper side to respect per template resource operation behavior. It just translates what in the constraint spec to VAP.
Gotcha.
But it's the option to, yeah.
I see. So then in some sense, option two and this PR is saying if you use the VAP way, then you have more granular operations. But if you use the webhook way, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm. I guess we can't get around like the webhook all or nothing because that's been the current behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Sartash?
Sorry, I was multitasking. What's the question?
How dare you? Just kidding.
So the question is basically how do we enable support for different types of operation at VAP level uh, when in gatekeeper currently we have all or nothing behavior where the operations defined in the webhook configurations are
Yeah.
solid and there is nothing to override it
Yeah,
complete
because
control.
in VAP you say like create, update, and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
That's on the VAP level. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and if we
webhook,
end
it's yeah.
up defining a field for that in constraint template, it still won't be able to override what's missing from the
Right.
configuration.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one way could be creating multiple webhooks, but that's probably a bad idea.
What do you have in mind? Why multiple webhooks?
Like Kyberner, for example, does creates like multiple admission webhooks. So like one for like fail close and one for like fail open. We could do the similar thing, say like this policy is create, so we just create a new webhook that just looks at create, say connect or delete, whatever. Does that make sense?
But then everything will still be routed through gatekeeper port. So
Yeah, and then you'll obviously need to change like, hey, maybe the gatekeeper can automatically create the webhook, and then it can say like, hey, for these policies or these resources, it goes through this webhook. And I'm just thinking out loud here.
I don't know. I feel like if we have power to define that with multiple webhooks, but yeah, I guess like it's about then I think we have power to like enable all the operations in webhook anyways, and then bifurcate at policy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be hard to support both VAP and the regular, like non-VAP policies in parity with this, right?
Because
Because
like by
all or nothing's nature of it. Yeah.
yeah.
I think the concern is like, let's say if I had delete in the validating webhook config, right? But I didn't have it in the constraint template. So that means it will come through the webhook, but not map.
I mean, if so, the behavior should be if there are no resource operations defined at the constraint template level, then we support whatever there is in webhook through VAP.
Config.
Yeah,
Okay.
through
So
config through VAP as well. So let's say if constraint for as of now, right? Like if we create VAP by default, we add create and update operation, which is the default behavior in Gatekeeper as well.
Yeah.
So then, if the delete operation is enabled, then we should append the delete
I
operation.
see, I see.
Yeah.
So sort of like by default, VAP would do whatever the webhook does always.
Yes.
And you can kind of be more granular with VAP, but not the other way around, right?
Y- Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think easiest would be to create a web specific config that we can override.
I don't think you can that's what we were talking about override. We were literally just talking about this. If you are multitasking, um, is you can override if delete is already part of the validating webhook config, you can override that, right? But you can't override if it's not there. Because
Well,
No, no, I'm saying like if the in the constraint template, say
yeah.
there is like a I don't know web override, right? And
Mhm.
then when we create the web object, we do create, update, and delete. So create and update is always there, and then say maybe we add delete.
but so that will differ from the constraint from like gatekeeper's behavior, right? Like
Yeah,
where
that's what I'm saying. I don't. I think it's hard to be in parity because of all or nothing nature of the webhook
well,
stuff. Like
another option might could be that if any constraint template adds delete operation to it, we just update the webhook configuration to add delete operation. Uh, and that way, it's more consistent across because
uh,
we are putting
yes.
both anyways, right?
So you're saying dynamically modify the webhook with delete if somebody specified that in the in the constraint template.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that can work.
Um, but again, we are still for option two, right? We are saying with this option, you can override with that, but you cannot override with webhook, right?
Um, so that's what me like I was talking about, right? Like if we update dynamically the webhook configurations, then
Mhm.
it's same for both. Like, and the power is basically with the constraint authors, sorry, constraint template authors, where if they mention a delete operation, then we dynamically update the configuration.
You will mutate the validating webhook config.
Yeah, update
Yeah,
it.
existing one. Yeah.
So this is the part what I was saying. I thought you couldn't do that. I thought it like it
You
depends on where the controller is. If it's part of the webhook, I don't think it can.
no, it's not part of the webhook.
Okay, where is it then?
It's like after the admission, it's on reconcile. The controller basically just watches the
You
ATCD
mean
resource.
it's in the like say the audit pod?
Yeah,
Okay. Because I think if it's part of the webhook, and you should test this, but I have
Yeah,
this
yeah,
memory that if it's part of the webhook controller, it wouldn't be able to mutate, right?
yeah. You are right. You are right.
I
Yeah.
Because
mean, we used to create the webhook like dynamically, like long time ago.
Huh?
We used to create the webhook dynamically like long time ago. No?
no, we have a spec for webhook. We don't create it dynamically.
No,
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
really long time ago we used to dynamically create the webhook. I don't think the webhook like as an object existed. Gatekeeper would create the webhook.
So that's fine, but let's say you have a admission request for validating webhook incoming through the webhook itself, right? Like you can't mutate or validate that request because API server just won't send it to any
Right.
webhook
This is
anyway.
to prevent deadlock.
Yeah. So this will happen after the fact that a webhook is already created and now is present on HCD, and then we are working on it to see what it is, and then if we need to send another update request to it basically, and then modify
Right.
the YAML.
Yeah, but if you say the update controller is in, say, the audit pod, then that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we only create VAP after constraint templates are created and are guarded through operation generate, which is
sure.
in audit pod.
But then the other concern I have is like, what if they don't want to run audit? Like, I guess this, even if they don't want to run audit, they will run this like um this reconciler. Like,
But
what do we call this? So,
so
like for example, you have generation, right? You have to generate reconciler, right? So now we have this guy, whatever it's called, right?
it will still, so both the audit pod and controller pod have some sort of reconciler controllers running, right? It's
Right, right.
webhook, like controller pod only doesn't just run webhook. So as long as you define operation generate on non-audit pods,
One on one pod.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
But
so this
this
is
would only support if audit is running, right?
No, that's why I'm asking is it like that singleton pod currently runs a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't want to run audit, you won't see audit in that singleton, but you will see other controllers like the generate one and now this one. Let's just call this what is it like validating validating emission config or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like we're overloading the audit with just like random helper stuff a lot. So if audit is not running, then this is nothing to do with audit, but then the pod is called like audit.
Yeah, that's a different problem. I mean, that's how it is right now. It's called
Yeah.
audit, but there's like generate is there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And status is there. Uh
yeah.
yeah. Again, that's a different problem, but yes, it's a problem. Um
So
I'll
maybe
create
we can think of it as like a new controller that runs in
yeah.
like a new
I just
pod.
thought of an issue. I
Yeah.
just thought of an issue is let's say if I deploy the like let's say I manage Gatekeeper deployment, right? I actually deploy validating a mission config, and I have a reconciler that will continue to reconcile it. Now, this new controller is going to fight with it.
yeah. If the new controller updates the resource, yes, it's gonna fight with it.
I
Hmm.
mean, according to option two, it will, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, so as of this PR stands, it is not updating the object itself. My suggestion was to like error out or throw an error if delete operation is not supported in the webhook, but is mentioned in the constraint template spec or is supposed to be supported in generated VAP, then just indicate that delete operation is not supported in gatekeeper. So this will cause inconsistent behavior. But
I see. Actually, I think that's a better approach because currently the platforms that deploy the gatekeeper resources, it includes the validating webhook config, right? And depending on how that's deployed and updated, you're gonna have different controllers fighting each other.
yeah, that's true.
So if it errors out, is it just gonna show up in the constraint template status?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're saying if the policy author wants to use delete and it's not there, it will throw an error, and then they have to go work with the whoever deployed gatekeeper to say, hey, I need to add this. Okay.
Because we don't want policy authors to like enable delete operation and cause inconsistent or undesired behavior through VAP if those were not intended by gatekeeper admin, right?
Yeah. I guess the reason why we didn't include delete by default is it was sort of like a not a typical use case. Is that I'm trying to remember why.
Yeah, we have it in the README. I mean, in the docs, but we don't
To
remember
add
why.
explicitly, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you wanted this, you could do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't know why we never made it default. I don't know.
Well, because if you remember, we were also like,
It will overload the webhook as well, right? Like
right.
top of create and update if somebody mass deletes stuff, then
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay, well, we're at time. So let's
so
all think about it.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think this is a easy one. I think we need to think about all the corner cases, like the one that I just talked about. The, the config fighting with each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
But I
thank
think
you.
in is also like we mentioned before, it might be a good way to modularize some of the things because I
Yeah.
feel like we are overloading audit a lot for these like just random operations. Maybe like we could add more pods to Gatekeeper instead of just like, hey, just add everything to audit.
I don't know how I feel about adding
Well,
more.
at least maybe change the deployment name.
Yeah.
Audit and other things.
No, I mean you just say it's a controller. It's gatekeeper controller.
I mean, it's called Gatekeeper Audit. And then there's
No,
the Gatekeeper,
gatekeeper controller, and it has
yeah,
audit.
Gatekeeper Controller Manager.
Okay, let's think about the name. Let's come back. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Can you create an issue for this actually? And I think we should come back to this at some
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll create something. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh,
All right.
thanks.
Okay, have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Yep.